Hey, how you guys doing? Yesterday, my friend Amy went and spoke at the Lawrence City Commissioners meeting. And what had been going on in Lawrence lately is that there's been a group of trans people and trans activists that have been putting some pressure on the city commission to make Lawrence kind of they're calling it like a trans sanctuary city or something like that. Because here in Kansas, there's been a law passed that has to do with defining the biological sex of male and female and corresponding bathrooms, and also corresponding athletics, boys and girls in school and stuff. And so there's been a big group here in Lawrence, because it's so liberal, that have been putting pressure on the city commissioners to make this a sanctuary city. So my friend Amy went and spoke there yesterday, and I'm going to include her speech at the end of this video here. But there's also another part of the video to check out as well here. And what happened is, she gives a fantastic speech. She's speaking truth, just knocks it out of the park. And she's the only person there that has a different view than all the other people there. So it's like just a crowd full of, trans people and trans activists and just lefty weirdos, like a freak show there. And she's the only normal person there. And so she goes in and she speaks about, how she believes that what they're doing, the trans agenda, isn't good. And so she speaks during general public comment. She's interrupted by the city commissioner, one of the city commissioners. She's interrupted by people in the crowd yelling stuff at her. And so anyway, she finishes speaking and goes and sits down, and then the next person goes up there and is speaking. It's some transgender and makes some ridiculous claim about how if they're not supported, they're suicidal. And Amy didn't like that, so she got up and left. And as she's leaving, you can see it in the video, as she's leaving, she goes through a line of people that are waiting to do their general public comment, and one of the transgenders there tries to trip her, makes contact with her, tries to trip her as she's walking out the door. And, a couple of things with that. The first one, it's the most obvious one. We always say, like, we don't do that stuff to them. It's always the left. It's always these left weirdos that are getting violent, and then they always say that we're the violent ones. And then on top of that, is that, the trans community here in Lawrence, but just in general, says like they don't feel safe, and they don't feel, protected, and that they're going to be like genocided and stuff like that. And that, if they don't make Lawrence a sanctuary city, they're not going to feel safe and stuff like that. Well, instigating physical contact, and that's illegal, that's battery, but instigating physical contact with someone that you view as the enemy is not something that someone that fears for their safety does. That's a bullying technique. That's someone that feels very comfortable making contact with people in an aggressive, violent manner. They're not scared. They're not feeling that their lives are in danger, that they're feeling, not safe. They're feeling emboldened is what they're feeling. They're not oppressed. They're emboldened enough to want to physically attack, or physically make contact with someone that has a differing viewpoint as them. And so, we reported it to the police, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's always the same thing. If the situation was reversed, if I would try to trip one of those transgenders, it would have been a fucking hate crime. I would have spent the night in jail at the very minimum. But with this, it's nothing. It definitely won't be classified as a hate crime, even though what that person did was out of hate for what my friend Amy had just said up there. They didn't like what she said. They don't like her politics, I'm sure. So they did it out of hate, but it ain't going to matter because she's a white woman, so they're not going to do nothing. But anyways, I'll also include that transgender that tries to trip her speaks and goes up there and says his name and stuff like that. So I'll include that at the end of, showing the video. At the end of this video, showing Amy's speech and that transgender making contact with her. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and appreciate you guys checking out my channel. Appreciate you checking out my video. I'll talk to you later.
Hi, I'm Amy Boffman. I'm a Lawrence resident for over 50 years. I just want to say to you all that I think it's really wrong that you are allowing or thinking of allowing trans people to use the bathroom they wish they were the sex of. It opens up a plethora of problems and mishaps for people who don't agree with that. You are asking for trouble right along with the sheriffs and LPD. Why not add more to the mix of the crap they already deal with? Go ahead, treat the majority like shit. That's what you always do. Courtney, I bet the reason you want to allow these people to break the law, or you will all change the law, is because you have relation on the LPD that is gay or tranny. I'm not sure which. Either way, I think it's a female that kind of looks like a male. And Bart, you had some little toddler, I think he was a male, in the rainbow tutu over at the reading with Deja Brooks.
You can talk to me, that's cool. Leave kids out of it. I signed up for this.
And
I think that's fair, right?
the tranny who was helping the Boys and Girls Club raise money at Rock Chalk about a year ago. You all are having a hand in ruining our children. You are trying to normalize this. You are losing a lot of your citizens in the process, is what I'm hearing. I'm definitely looking to retire elsewhere. Bite me. If this place doesn't stop turning into a disgusting cesspit, like I said, though, just keep treating the majority like shit. Don't think for a second that just because they don't come and say so, that they're not pissed. Thank you.
Take your time if you need to.
My name is Fallon Lewis. When I was a trans child and teenager, I would have given anything to have had information and education about what it was that I was going through. I would have given anything to have had loving support during that time, but it was just the opposite. The lack of support contributes to the suicide rate in the trans community. I would have given anything to have been able to dress the way that resonated with my gender identity, which is female. I would have been so great.
Good evening. I'm Damian Elijah Pratt. I'm a 21-year-old trans man born in Ottawa, Kansas, but I consider myself a Lawrencian after graduating from Free State High School in 2020. I lived in Ottawa until